Hi Soapies, Sherry here from A Misty Dimness AMD soap. I'm giving you guys a little bit of a different angle. We'll see if that helps you guys see what I'm really doing when I'm making soap. So today I am making a Soleseife, which is German for salt soap. This is different than the salt bars that I usually do because the salt is dissolved before it is added to the soap batter. So I had to make a few recipe changes. I increased my superfat from 3% to 10%. I increased my coconut oil from 20 to 28%. Coconut oil is one of the few oils that will actually make lather in sea salt or in sea salt water. So to counteract the dryness of coconut oil, that's why I had to make the increase in superfat. And then the other change that I made was increasing my salt amount, which usually I do 1 teaspoon per pound. I actually increased it to 20% of the water. So when I made that calculation, I did not count the water that I already used to dissolve my sodium hydroxide, because that water has already been saturated by the sodium hydroxide. So I'm only counting 20% of the additional water that I'm adding to my lye solution. That's probably a lot overwhelming for people who don't make soap, but if you are a soap maker, it should probably make sense to you. If it doesn't, go ahead and ask questions in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. This is my second time making Soleseife. The first time did not go well because I didn't understand saturation and the correct amount of salt to use. I have since done a lot of research into this to make sure I am doing it right. And so today, here we go. We're experimenting. Fun, huh? So today I am using a tall and skinny mold. And let's see, what else am I using? I'm using brambleberry fragrance oil in, I don't know if you guys can see that, the glare over there might be bad. This is Jade brambleberry. This is from their gem collection that came out, I'm going to say late fall, Christmas, early winter time. I kind of don't remember. I'm not very good at remembering stuff like that. And this one has been on my list to make a soap with for ever. Pretty much since I got it. And my recipe for it has gone through several changes before I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to throw this in the Soleseife soap. So that's what I'm using today. These are my colors. This is a combination of 4 colors, and when I mixed them together to test them, they did come out a very jade color. I'm hoping that comes through in the soap batter. But my colors today are all from Micas and More. They are silver graphite, bodacious blue, which is a neon, but it just kind of amps up the color just a bit and kind of gives it that jade factor. This one is hunter green, and then my last color that I am using is peak green mica. And then I am also going to be putting in a light gold mica line, and I will also be brushing the tops of the set soap with gold mica. So I will have 2 videos for this particular soap. One so that you can see how I brush the gold on top of the bars, and a few people have asked me if I would show a cutting video to show how I cut my bars. So I'll do 2 separate videos, because I still haven't figured out video editing yet. Small steps, people. So I'll be doing that. That's what we'll be doing with our colors, and let's make soap. So first of all, I'm going to start off with our lye solution, and I am going to measure this slightly backwards from what I have done in previous videos, because I want to make sure that my salt gets dissolved in the water before I add the lye to it. So I am adding 9.52 ounces of water. And this is a 2 pound, well, a little bit more than 2 pound. It's 36 ounces of oil is what goes into my tall and skinny mold. And of course, right off the bat, I'm busy chatting, and I measured a little bit more than what I needed. I measured about ½ ounce more than what I needed. So I'm just going to grab a small container and measure off what I don't need. And I have already made some soap today. There we're at 9.56. So this is all the water that I took off. I could have left it, but I'm feeling kind of anal today and OCD. So I'm going to do things as close to accurate as I can. I'm adding in 1.7 ounces of dendritic salt. Dendritic salt is just a fine grain salt. So it will dissolve quickly. That's one of the reasons I use dendritic salt rather than table salt or pink Himalayan salt or any sea salts, anything like that. I like that it's fine grain, so it dissolves quickly, and it's also very inexpensive to buy. Just to give you an idea, 1.7 ounces of salt right there. This just costs about 8 cents for this much salt. So it's really affordable. So I don't feel any more grains in there. So I'm going to leave it. And I'm going to go ahead and add our sodium hydroxide solution to this. So as I was saying, I have already made soap today, just a really small batch, just an 8-ounce batch of soap for a project that I am working on, and we need 9.52 ounces of this. So I'm going to go a little bit slower because I am pouring this directly into my existing lye solution, or my existing saltwater solution. So if I go over, I'm screwed. So I am going to be slightly a little bit more careful than normal for measuring, which means I'm going to stop talking too, because I can't do 2 things at once. Insert awkward silence. And we are at 6, 7, and we are going up to 9.52. Okay, 8.99, 8.28, so one more splash like that, 9.45, half splash, and 9.59. We went a little over, which is going to very, very slightly decrease. It's going to put us at like a 9.8% super fat. I'm not worried. That's one of the reasons we have super fats in our soap calculations, is so that if we have these slight mismeasurements, we're not going to hurt anybody. The soap is still going to be safe to use. So there we have that all mixed up. I have to remember that with this new angle I can't move too far off camera. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this a little bit of a stir just to get everything kind of mixed up. And if there is any salt that hasn't dissolved yet, because the lye solution is heating up a bit from adding more water to it, that salt should dissolve pretty well. So I'm going to move that off to the side, and I'm going to do, where's my soap making bowl? Right there! I set things out for myself to try and make it a little bit faster today, and I'm like so confused all of a sudden because I forgot that I did that for myself. So this is my master batch solution over here off to the side, and as I said, I have already made soap today, so this is pretty well incorporated. It was kind of grainy this morning when I first used it. And so I did hit it up with my stick blender to smooth it all out. So I'm just doing a cursory stir at this point, just to make sure everything's still blended up. I have kind of a heavy soap making schedule this weekend. I'm not sure if I am going to get all of these soaps made or videos for all of these soaps. So I am measuring 32.4 ounces of my master batch solution. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32.38, 32.42. That's just about perfect, you guys. And then I'm going to add in, this is coconut oil, and this is proof of how warm it is in my soap lab today, and why I have the fan running in the background. My coconut oil has pretty much melted. So I am going to give this guy a quick stir, just to kind of settle him back out. And because I like stirring things, I don't know, there's just satisfaction. So I'm going to just add coconut oil until I get up to 36 ounces. And I went just a titch over, so I'll have some extra soap. That seems to be the theme for the day. Going just a titch over. I wipe off my hands. They get oily, and I'm naturally clumsy anyways, and I'm still a bit nervous when I'm making soap videos. If you saw that go flying, it did not land in the soap. It landed outside the soap. Just a little fiber from my little cut up squares of bed sheets. This is what I use to clean everything with. My hands, my soap dishes after I'm done making soap. Now because this is a solid color, and I am doing just one fragrance, I am just going to go ahead and dump everything into my oils pot. Oh! You know what? I forgot to add my clay to my sodium hydroxide. I will do that in just a moment here. So this one says behaves well in cold process soap, no discoloration, and I didn't make any notes regarding what the fragrance notes are. So I will look that up for the second video, and we will do that. So in goes our color, and we might have to make some tweaks and adjustments. We will see. And I'm going to stop and push that back. We'll add our clay to the lye solution. Come on out. So this is a 2-pound batch, so I only add 1 tablespoon of that. Sorry if I bump you for the jiggling and juggling. You're on the same shelf as the kaolin clay. And then I'm going to give this a second stir. One nice thing about clay is that it doesn't really dissolve, it just disperses. So as long as there's no clumps, I don't have to worry about whether it's really properly mixed or not. Just look for no clumps and we're good. And this has actually gotten really, really warm. It's a little bit warmer than usual. So I wonder if the sea salt adds a bit to it. I keep calling it sea salt because I think salt water and then I think seas and oceans, and I'm retarded. So there we go, there's that. I'm going to give this a quick zhuzh, that's my word, zhuzh, to mix up the color into the oils so we don't have any clumps. I'm just going to give it a quick burst right through that big clump of powder, and then we'll give it a couple quick bursts, and that color looks spot on for what I want. Can you guys see how gorgeous that is? Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So there I don't see any clumps of powder popping up. I see some air bubbles, but I don't, oop, I think I just saw some bodacious blue neon. Whoops, sorry about the cord in the way of your view. That just happens to be where the outlet is, right in front of you guys. Okay, I'm going to give this a quick shush. Our color will change just a little bit when we add the lye solution. I'm expecting it to lighten up, but I think we'll still be able to hang on to that nice jade color that we have going on. And this 36 ounces really fills up my dollar store bowl. So I'm going to give it just a couple bursts and stir by hand. It doesn't take a whole lot. So you can see here how much our oils have lightened up, but I am still really happy with the color. So if you're a soap maker, you've made soap before, you don't like watching on the stick blender, go ahead and fast forward. I'm not going to be offended. I do it to other soap makers' videos too. So my goal for trace with this soap is in between light and medium, because I do want to put that mica line in, and I don't want it getting too thick while I'm pouring and sprinkling the mica on. We are just about to trace now. So this is a nice emulsion, and it is right on the edge of trace. I don't know how well the video is picking up the trace marks. I guess I'll find out when I watch it before I post it. This is a perfect trace. This is normally where I would stop. I'm going to go a bit thicker because I need my layers to kind of support each other and support a shape. Check this. That looks perfect. It's holding a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that. Probably not. The light looks like it's glaring a bit, but it is holding some of the shape of the stick blender when I pull it out. Okay, I'm going to tap off as much extra there as I can. And we'll set that aside, unhook myself from the cord, and I'm going to go ahead and give this a stir just to get all the sides incorporated. Oh my goodness, how Fargo was that accent right there. Incorporated. Alright, and we are ready to start pouring our soap into the mold. I'm going to move a few things here out of my way, so don't mind me. And I'm going to do a wipey. I'm going to move our bowl. So I'm going to give you guys a close-up of this, just because the color, I am so in love with this color. I like it. I like it a lot. So this is my tall and skinny mold, and it is a silicone mold. So it's a little bit flimsy when I fill it. The walls bow out from the weight. So to counteract that, this is how things work around here. We just go with what we got. Because I haven't asked my husband to make me a box to sit this one in. I have a wire basket. This is just one of those under the sink dealy bobbers. And then I took a couple of my 8 ounce, 5 ounce, 6 ounce, I don't remember what size they are, of my containers that I use for foot scrubs. And I stuck them in there because they fit nicely, and they created a nice tight wall for my soap pouring. So fun times around here. We just make things work. So I'm gonna pour, whoops, I'm already making a mess. I'm gonna pour a bit here, and this first layer is probably going to be a little bit even, perfectly even. Now I'm gonna use this is a tea strainer that I use. I put my gold mica in there, and I think this is kind of my standard gold mica. I think it's gold mica mixed with bronze mica. I'm not really sure on that anymore. It's been so long since I mixed it up. I just mix it up, and it just kind of sits there. And when I need it or feel the urge to put glitter on everything, or gold on everything, because I really like gold. So I'm going to go ahead and tilt this, because I don't care if the layers stay even. So I'm going to tilt this so you can see it. This is how much gold mica I put on there. It's just a really nice light dusting. And then because this is so light, it might break through some. I'm okay with that. It did break through some. Might help if I got my spatula a little closer. So there, you guys aren't getting as good a shot of the pores here as I had hoped you would. Yeah, I got hand confused for a moment there. So I'm going to put on a little bit more gold mica on top. We'll sprinkle that on, and I think I'm just going to let it bust through. I'm not going to try to do that spoon thing anymore. I've never really been good at it. I'm going to just maybe pour as close as possible to minimize the breakthrough. This may not look how I originally intended it now. I thought I was just going to get uneven layers, but I left it too loose. I think that's good. I think I'm going to leave it with two layers. So now that we're kind of getting up towards the top, you can probably see a little bit better what's going on here, as long as I'm not really blocking you guys with the bowl. And I am going to let this kind of pile up a bit, because I want to make a piled up top, which is going to make it a packaging nightmare for me, for myself. I don't like to make things easy. I always have to do things a little bit difficult. So I'm going to let this kind of pile up. And then I'm going to let it sit for a while. I'm actually going to have to let it sit for a little bit longer than I wanted to make this video last. So you guys will see what I did to texture the top in the next video. I won't show you how I did it, but you'll be able to see what I did. So Don't forget to come back for the second video to see how I finish the soap and cut it into bars. If you like watching me make soap, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. These soaps will be available in about 8 weeks at www.amdsoap.com. And I don't know why I always feel I have to say www. It's like amdsoap.com. You guys know it's www, right? Check out my other soaps while you're waiting. Stay soapy, guys. Have a great week.